it's good to be back again. This is Confessions of a Young Christian Wife. My name is Souhaila and I'm humbled to be back to speak to us about a very important topic today. Today I'll be speaking to us about sickle cell disease. And it may sound weird, but we need to know about it today. Diseases are with us. They've been with us for time immemorial, even when Jesus was around, even before Jesus came. In fact, he healed many diseases. That's not to say he heals some and he's not able to heal some, but he is able to heal all manner of diseases. He actually went to the cross to die for all of that, including diseases as well. And so the beautiful part of the journey is that when you partner with him, he goes on with the journey with us, and then he gives us peace. He gives us the strength to go through it, and we come out really successful. Today, sickle cell disease is my topic, and every year on 19th June, the world sets this day aside to talk about the disease and create awareness. This year, the global theme for sickle cell disease day was hope through progress, advancing sickle cell care globally. And this theme sought to bring people together to raise awareness, to eliminate stigma, and then to drive meaningful change for the millions of people affected by the disease. And so by this video, I'm also creating the change, meaningful change that will help reduce stigma by the many people who have been affected by the disease. I am a sickle cell warrior's mom. I'm a mom to a warrior, and I got to know about this way back in 2020 when I had my second daughter. That's like 6 months into her birth. She was ill. She was just crying. She was uncomfortable. She would cry endlessly, and it was really not the usual. Her hands started swelling, her feet, and we took her to the hospital. We did all the tests, all the x-rays, and the doctors advised us that we should come back after when she's 6 months to determine, to run certain tests. So later I got to find out that they said 6 months because when babies are born, they usually have their mother's bloods, in their system. That's the best way I can explain it. So with that blood in them, you can't really tell exactly what genotype they carry. And so after 6 months, all that mommy's blood would have gone, and then they would have been replenished or restored with their own blood type or genotype. And so by 6 months, when we went to do the test, lo and behold, we got the shock of our lives that she is sickle cell SS patient. At 6 months, she got ill again, and that was when it became very necessary for this test to be done. The first test was more like a rapid, that kind of rapid instant test thing. And when the doctor broke the news, I was in denial for a long time. It broke my heart because I knew I carried a trait. I was AS, but for some weird reasons, I assumed that my husband was AA. And I thought that from the conversations we've had that, they are being tested routinely at the workplace, I assumed that he was AA. And so when we got to know this news, there was no need pointing fingers and all of that. It has happened. We just trusted the Lord and moved on. I had this peace in my spirit, just that I was still in denial and I couldn't come to terms with it for a very long time. And that brings me to the first advice, that you should get tested. Those of us who are yet to be married, let's get tested. If you carry a trait, you are AS, please, this is how we will stop this disease from spreading and from growing. Because if I am AS, my husband is AS, there's a 25% possibility of us having a sickle cell child. So to avoid that, may the Lord help us to all get partners who have genotypes that will not create these issues in future. Because mind you, when you have a sickle cell child, the financial burden in managing the disease is very, very daunting, and you don't want to go through the emotional and the psychological aspect of it. It's something you don't want to imagine. So it's best that we avoid it in the first place at all. So as I continue, now my girl got a major crisis when she was 1 year, a few weeks after her birthday, and it was really a big blow. It took a lot of things from me. For a whole 6 weeks and more, we were stuck in the hospital trying to figure out what was happening to her, what kind of infection it was, and all of that. And I was so anxious that my blood pressure was always being checked whenever her vitals was taken, to the extent that, like, we did all the tests and we couldn't find what was happening. Then I'm suggesting a lot of things. The doctors are saying, you can't give these medications for a start. It has to be gradual. We had to go to the point of doing a central line because all her veins are blocked, and it was so stressful. We had to go as far as checking her brain, checking every part of her to be sure that everything is fine. We checked her heart. Oh my, we did ECG for her and all of that. It was very stressful for that whole 6 weeks. When she had to go through surgery to get a central line done, it was very stressful for me. Her other older siblings had to be taken care of, and all that stress. So it's best that we stop this thing now, one couple at a time. Don't say that you're in love and so you handle it later. For us, we didn't know. For me, I didn't know. So it happened impromptu and I had to handle it like that. But by God's grace, He gave me the caregivers around me, our parents. The love was just overwhelming at the time. So, I had to be very observant a lot when I went to the hospital. It was a period where I believe the Lord used it to teach me a lot of things about the sickness, about the disease. And so when we came back home, and I do observe her a lot, when I see her face, I'm able to tell that she's not well. In fact, she won't even tell you she's hungry. So you have to be that observant. She's so special to me and to the world, because the Lord has a special assignment for her. So I'm always observing her. We are always encouraging her. She's super smart and she's super resilient. Like, she's super strong. She's able to endure pain. I'm told that when you're in crisis, the pain is very excruciating. It's like you are being stabbed with a knife. So I just try to be in her shoes, and she can endure pain. So every morning we go through this routine where I'm asking her, are you okay? Do you feel pain anywhere? And all of that. And she communicates back to me for me to know. To the extent that before we left the hospital, the doctors educated me on how to check her spleen, because for people suffering with this disease, their spleen can be enlarged, and I have to be doing that often. When I see a few changes and I see how bloated she is, I check. Sometimes even when she's not bloated, I still do that check. And there was one time I felt there was a little growth in the spleen. Took her to the clinic, and truly there was a growth, and they helped her with that situation. So as a parent or a caregiver, you have to be very, very observant around these ones. You have to be encouraging them to be taking their medications. For my daughter, and I know for many others, when they are unwell, they don't want to take fluids, because they have to be taking fluids every time to help the sickled cell to thrive, or to help the body function well. I'm not using all the terms that I need to, but I'm trying. So she needs to be taking a lot of fluids. They need to eat well, extra care for them. So when I encourage her to take all her medications, and for some of the medications it's in capsule and she's a little younger, you have to go and compound it. Compounding means you go and mix the medication, make it syrup, and for us down here in Ghana, the compounding units are not many. We have one in Kolebu and there's another private one around Adabraka. That is the two I know of for now. And so there's the need to create more of these units to help the parents and the people with this situation. With the medications around, the mortality rate of it has reduced. Back then, there were lots of people who were dying with the disease. But the good thing is that there are still a lot more who grow older even with the disease. Recently, we have Dr. Professor Kweku Frimpong, who was over 80 years, and he really advocated for the hydroxyurea to be brought down here for us to have access to it, and a whole lot of other things that he did for the sickle cell carriers and the sickle cell diseased people. So hope is not lost. We are not alone. All we need from people out there is that don't stigmatize children, don't stigmatize people who are living with these diseases. There are people like you and I, and they need to feel the love like we also need to be loved. So we should make a conscious effort. If you are a caregiver, you are a teacher, you are a nanny, whoever, you are a parent, be very observant. As Christians, be very prayerful and sense some of these things, their various needs, and help them around it. Encourage them a lot. Encourage them a lot, because they need that support to thrive and to grow. So what else would I like to add to it? As the Lord would want it, back when I was in secondary school, I had a school daughter who happened to be a warrior, and she would come to me, would talk, I would make mashed kenke for her, I'll use spoon and mash it for her, and she would take it every evening before she goes to bed. Little did I know that the Lord was preparing me for a greater task ahead. And it's very humbling that now I get to be a mother to one, and I'm still on the journey. So let's not call these warriors sicklers. They are not sicklers. They are warriors. They are very, very strong. The pain they are able to endure, I don't think you'll be able to endure one bit, because they are going through that pain on a continuous daily basis. In fact, the red blood cells in their body is sickled. The normal red blood cell is very round, but for theirs it is shaped like a moon, so it's very, very sick. And that's how come they go through a lot of pain a lot of times. So we need to feel their pain, we need to be in their shoes and help them. It is possible. Healing is a process, healing is a journey. So all the things we say to them, all the things we help them to thrive, it's a holistic amount that helps them to grow, that helps them to be who God has asked them to be. Even with the disease, God has an assignment for them. So we need to help them. If you don't, you account for it. Like, let's not do this. Let's all create a conducive environment for people living with various kinds of diseases. So as a mom who is caring for a warrior, this is my plea to the general public out there, that we encourage them and we persevere with them through faith, that they'll be fine, they can do, or they can be who they want to be with God's help on their side. Let's not stigmatize persons living with sickle cell disease. Let's help them. Let's show them all the needed love that they need so that they can be who they need to be. This is where I would like to end it today. I know that this has been a blessing and quite educative and informative for you. Is there anything you'd like to know? Ask me in the comment section. Is there anything you'd like to add on? Let's continue the conversation in the comment section, and let's get this message, this awareness going viral on the internet so that everybody is aware and educated. God richly bless you. I'm grateful for the support so far. Continue to share, subscribe, and like the video. I'm out today. I'll see you some other time. Bye.